Narcissus stands on the stage and smiles at the crowd. He's not smiling for them. He is smiling because he loves the attention. A vat of flammable liquid is poured upon him, and still he smiles. His hand dives into his pocket and he pulls out a lighter. He holds it underneath a finger and says, "Watch me." Instantaneously he bursts into flame, and his laughter blends with the scream of agony. Narcissus and his eternal gaze. Have you ever walked past a field with these flowers? Well, then you have met him. Behind these beautiful flowers lie a tragedy of a cold star. There is a story in ancient Greek mythology of a man named Narcissus. He was a beautiful young man, and many loved him, especially a lady named Echo. But Narcissus rejected her, as he did with everyone else, as he found no one worthy of his affection and love. Thus, the goddess of balance and vengeance, Nemesis, cursed him to fall in love with his own reflection. So, sitting by a spring, he stared into his own reflection constantly, without food, sleep, or water. And eventually, he reached closer and closer to the surface until he drowned. Within each of us, we have a narcissist, and he comes in many different forms. It can appear as egocentrism, which is plain selfishness or a disregard for others. Regardless of its appearance, we must learn to distinguish it and control it, not only for the people around us' sake, but for ours as well. Pride is an amazingly tasting poison. It keeps you hooked on it, while slowly destroying you. There are many stories, both historical and fictional, that show us the price of stopping our ego, such as the story of Niobe. Niobe was a queen of Thebes in the ancient Greek world. She was well known for her beauty and her many children. According to most versions, she had 7 sons and 7 daughters. Tissot, the goddess of modesty, motherhood, and remember this, gentle guidance, had only 2 children, Apollo and Artemis. So Niobe, who had 14 children, mocked Leto for this, and even demanded that her people should stop worshipping Leto and worship her instead. So Leto, the goddess of gentle guidance, asked her son and daughter, Apollo and Artemis, to kill all of Niobe's children. Apollo killed all the 7 sons, and Artemis killed all the 7 daughters. Niobe was devastated, overcome with grief. She cried and cried, so the gods turned her into a statue of stone. But even as a stone, she continued to weep for eternity, water flowing from the rock like tears. What I'm trying to convey with this story is not that your entire bloodline will be eradicated if you're not humble. What I'm trying to say is that your pride may hurt unintended targets. In the story, the gods punish Niobe, but in reality, we are the ones who punish ourselves. We hurt ourselves and the world around us, and what's it for? To feel good? That feeling is a corrupt parasite, a good liar, a friend who freeloads on you while simultaneously destroying you. Be humble is something we often hear and rarely listen to. And everyone tells you how pride ruins your relationships and environment, but sometimes we forget that the biggest victim of our pride is ourselves. You become a cold star, empty, soulless, without a trace of love. That is the tragedy of a cold star. No warmth, no gravitational pull, just show. An entity of desire for validation and attention, with no regard for genuine relationships. A cold star is a poison that flows in the veins of the entity, killing itself and its environment. At the edge of the universe is where you find it. But if you ask it, it will tell you that it's located in the center of the universe. It's a cold star that pushes everyone around it away, for it feels like no one is worthy to share its space. So there it sits, on the trash bin outside the party, dancing in misery to get attention. But the other stars in the party do not notice it, and it lies to itself. It tells itself that its tears are tears of joy, but unfortunately, there is no joy at the edge of the universe. And thus, as the surface of the water draws near, his body is barely coherent. All that will remain will be ashes and darkness. The crowd is not amused, rather they are annoyed by his show and pitiful for his delusion. Parts of the audience caught stray flames and got burned. An old man walking past was blinded by the harsh light and fell. Narcissus mistakes the sparks from the fire for camera flashes, but he is a star without a gravitational pull. He is light without warmth. He is a cold star, and his supernova is soon here. That is the tragedy of a cold star.